part of the society. In 19th century, the idea of a nationalism, it increased among the people because of a distrust among the people against of those policies or those works which were done by the Britishers at their early phase of their expansion, in which the important was the commercialization of agriculture. Second one, as a exploitative revenue policies by the Britishers, introduction of English, introduction of uneven legal system in India. Next one is a fifth one, it was a destruction of traditional industries and crafts. Seventh, it was oppressive nature of colonial expansion. Eighth, it was a methods adopted to suppress the popular uprisings and revolutions in India among Indians. So that because of these policies, most number of Indians, these were not satisfied with the British policies. They showed their aggression to the idea of a nationalism, through which they started to struggle against our Britishers. And that idea, it became as a more arrogant to those three laws which were enacted by Britishers in the year of 1870 to 1880. In 1878, Britishers enacted the Arms Act, in which all the Indians, those who wish to possess arms, they have to take as a license from the Britishers. Without the license, they can't possess the arms and ammunitions. But that act, it was not applicable over the Britishers. So that's why the Indians, these were not satisfied. Second one, Vernacular Press Act of 1878, which restricted the freedom of media, press, newspapers. Their freedom restricted by the Britishers. Any of a newspaper which was published, any of a news against of a Britishers, their publication, it was restricted and banned by the Britishers. Third one, the Ilbert Bill of 1883, which allowed the judges of Indian origin to trial the Europeans in India. So these three important bills, which make as a distress among the Indians and increase the feeling of a nationalism among Indians, those who wish to work for the nation. In this process, the Britishers to disrupt that kind of a feeling of a unity. For this, Britishers, they founded the Indian National Congress. Indian National Congress in 1885. In 1885, Britishers, they were founded the Indian National Congress. It was founded by the A.O. Hume. A.O. Hume, a British official, retired British official, played a key role in a foundation of Indian National Congress. Indian National Congress, which was founded in 1885 at Bombay, December 1885. At the early phase, at the earlier years of Indian National Congress, it was basically worked to the Dadabhai Naroji, Firoz Shah Mehta, Badruddin Tayyab, W.C. Banerjee, these kind of dignitaries, they worked under the Indian National Congress. Basically, at that time, they created the problems for the Britishers. Britishers find out a way through which to make Indians engage in political activities and not to restrict their activities among the people. For this, the Congress, it was founded in 1885 by the Britishers. But later you see the leaders of a Congress, they divided into the two groups of moderates and radicals due to their ideologies. Ideologies in which the moderates were there, which favored that the British government is the good for the Indians. Without the Britishers, India, it can't be exist. But there was one more group was there which favored that India, it should be as free from the British control. That group was known as radicals, in which the four important leaders were there: Lala Lajpat Rai, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Bipin Chandra Pal, and Aurobindo Ghosh. Aurobindo Ghosh. We already done it before of the autumn break, all these parts. Aurobindo Ghosh. Those who wanted a greater political concessions and felt that Indians had to achieve these aims by themselves. Because when the Congress it was founded by the Britishers, all these leaders thought that through the Congress, through the British support, Indians, they will getting as an opportunity, Congress will getting as an opportunity to play as the role in, to play the role in a government. In government, they can play as an important role in government and a decision makers. They adopted a more radical ways. Radicalists played a more radical ways of political agitation and told the people to be bold, brave, and patriotic, and fight for freedom from British control. This was the basic ideological differences between us radicalists and moderates. That the radicalists thought that India, it can be only survive through the freedom from British control. But the moderates thought that without the Britishers, Indians, they can't exist in a world. They can't exist. But later in stage, when the those promises which earlier committed by the Britishers with the moderates, these were not fulfilled in later in stage around the first 2 decades of 20th century. Moderates and radicals, they also collide, they reunite again. They again reunite in a second decade of our 20th century. Second decade of 20th century. Both moderates and radicals, they were opted the two ways, two methods to show their aggression, political aggression to the Britishers as a Swadeshi and boycott. Swadeshi to favor the Indian goods which manufactured in India, and the boycott to oppose the goods which imported from the foreign England towards India. Even they also boycotted the British services. British services, their titles, all these things were the publicly boycotted by the Indian leaders. Indian leaders. Afterwards, we discuss about the partition of Bengal which occurred in 1905. Bengal partition, which was the largest state of colonial India. Their unity among the Hindu and Muslims, it was not easy for the Britishers to control over them. Because at that time, the large number of the leaders in a Congress party, they belong from the Bengal. To disrupt the Hindu-Muslim unity, for this, the Britishers, they finally executed the partition of Bengal in 1905. 1905. In 1905, Britishers, they partitioned Bengal, divided the Bengal and disrupted the Hindu-Muslim unity. In the very next year, Muslim League came into existence. Muslim League came into existence because earlier the Congress, Indian National Congress, which worked in society, in which mostly as a people belong from the Hindu community. And the Muslims, they wish to make as a separate party through which they can safeguard their rights. Safeguard their rights. For this, the Muslim League in 1906, it was founded. 1906, the Muslim League came into existence. 1906, Muslim League came into existence by the Salimullah Khan, the Nawab of the Dhaka. Nawab of Dhaka. It was founded a Muslim League in India. After the foundation of a Muslim League, at the early year, they favored that the partition of a Bengal. It means they were not opposed to the partition of Bengal afterwards. And second thing, they demanded as a separate electorates. Separate electorates for Muslims. Separate electorates. Electorates means those constituencies where the only Muslim candidates, they can cast their votes for the election of their Muslim leaders. For the Muslim leaders. So this was a demand raised by the Muslim League when it was came into existence. Muslim voters would elect their leaders. This we already done in a before of the autumn break. So let's continue our chapter, growth of nationalism. 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 It was continued at the time of 1919. 1919. Because before of it, in 1915, Gandhi returned. Mahatma Gandhi returned back from South Africa to India. In South Africa, he struggled against of the racist government. Racist government. In South Africa, Gandhi struggled against of a racist government, which makes the discriminations with the Indians and the Africans and not giving them the opportunities. It was largely due to him that the national movement turned into a genuine mass movement before coming to India. He had struggled to improve the conditions of Indians who were treated badly by the racist government of South Africa. In India, he spent his first few years traveling and observed the conditions of Indians, because at that time the poor conditions of India, it's due to those policies which continued by Britishers in previous more than century. In more than 100 years, Britishers, they enacted a number of the policies, programs, which makes the Indians, the condition of Indians as the severe, critical. So in our early years of the Gandhi towards India, he observed the situation and established the Sabarmati Ashram at Ahmedabad. Sabarmati Ashram at Ahmedabad. When Gandhi returned back to India, same in the year of 1915, Sabarmati Ashram in Ahmedabad founded. When Gandhi returned back to India, observed the situation, and finally it organized the planned Satyagraha, the first movement initiated by the Gandhi in India in 1916. In 1916, 1916, first organized planned movement organized by the Gandhi in against our indigo planters of Champaran. Planters of Champaran, Uttar Pradesh. Champaran. So that movement was organized, indigo planters of Champaran, and in next year, 1917, it organized the second movement in favor of mill workers of Kheda. Kheda presently it's in Gujarat. Mill workers of Kheda. 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 In some of the books, it is written as a Khera. Both are correct. Kheda. So these two movements initiated and succeeded because in both of the movements, Gandhi opted the way of the non-violence. Non-violence. That way of a satyagraha, the way to truth, through which Gandhi achieved their objective, and force the government to accept their demands. Satyagraha is basically a novel method of protest based on the ideals of truth. I repeat, Satyagraha, it was a noble method of protest based on the ideals of truth and non-violence. Peaceful non-cooperation was another important means of protest against British injustices. Due to the such ideology of a Satyagraha, a large section of population, it joined, it cooperated Gandhi in various areas. Clear? It happened in 1917. In 1919, Britishers, they enacted a Rowlatt Act. R-O-W-L-A-T-T. Rowlatt Act. Rowlatt Act. 1919. In 1919, Rowlatt Act passed. Rowlatt Act passed, which makes as a distress among the Indians, which visualize in 1919, because at this time, the age of 1919, before of its, the First World War, it fought in all over the world. First World War. The tenure of the First World War, it was 1914 to 1918. Before our First World War, Britishers, they promised to leaders of Congress that if the Congress supports Britishers in a First World War, after the battle, after the war, Britishers, they will give some political concessions to Indians. Political concessions means those areas where the Congress is earlier not playing as a role, important role in a government, they can getting as a role. They can contest in elections. Earlier, that opportunity was not given by the Britishers. This was a promise from the side of the Britishers to the Congress. But after the First World War, Britishers refused to accomplish their all promises. And because of this incident, Congress, which earlier as a supporters, it worked as a supporters, moderates which worked as a supporters, they also favored as radicals, and strictly they started to oppose the Britishers in a large scale. On the same time, the Britishers, to suppress such kind of a rebellion activities in India, they enacted the Rowlatt Act. R-O-W-L-A-T-T Act. Rowlatt Act in India. The Rowlatt Act passed in 1919 gave wide powers to government to suppress Indian nationalist activities. The government could now arrest any person. This was the meaning of a Rowlatt Act. The meaning of a Rowlatt Act means that the government could now arrest and imprison any person of an indefinite period without any trial. If the Britishers, they consider that any person making as a conspiracy, it oppose the Britishers, it make as a conspiracy, it can arrest without any trial. It can arrest and send behind the bars without any trials. Without any trial, it can be sent behind the. Because of this condition, Rowlatt Act considered as a black act. So we can assume that if any of a situation is there, if the authorities, they consider that a person is against of the authorities, against of the government, it can arrest a person, sent behind the bars without any trial, without any fixed period of a time. This is totally as a black act, as the exploitation, violation of a law. This is generally as a violation of a law. So that's why this act, Rowlatt Act, considered as a black act in Indian history. in Indian history. To oppose the Rowlatt Act, Gandhi organized the movement in 6 April. In 6 April, 6 April 1919, Gandhi started their movement against of Rowlatt Act. Against of Rowlatt Act. Pay attention. In favor of that movement of Gandhi, which initiated in 6 April 1919, there was a meeting held in Jallianwala Bagh on 13th April 1919. On 13th April 1919, a mass gathering organized in Jallianwala Bagh. Under leadership of Dr. Satyapal, S-A-T-Y-A-P-A-L, Dr. Satyapal, and second name, Dr. Saifuddin Kichlu, Saifuddin's spell as a S-A-I-F-U-D-D-I-N. I repeat again, S-A-I-F-U-D-D-I-N. Saifuddin Kichlu, K-I-T-C-H-L-E-W. Saifuddin Kichlu. These two leaders, they organized a mass gathering in a Jallianwala Bagh on 13th April 1919. Under such circumstances, the General Dyer, the military commander of Amritsar, ordered his troops to open fire upon the unarmed crowd. And hundreds of people were killed and wounded. Gandhiji lost faith in the goodwill of the British. And a large number of the social activists, they returned their titles, in which the name of Rabindranath Tagore is known. Rabindranath Tagore, which returned their knighthood title. At that time, at the time of a British age, there were the different titles were given by the Britishers to Indians. Titles, for example, the Sir title, it was given to the Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, who founded the Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College. And knighthood title, which was given to the Rabindranath Tagore for its work, their achievement for the society, their work in a society. That title, it returned by the Rabindranath Tagore to show their aggression to the authorities, against our Rowlatt Act. Clear? Is that clear? This incident occurred in 1919, 13th April 1919. At a large in number all over the India, leaders, these were arrested, leaders of a Congress, whatever these were the moderates and the radicals, these were arrested in a larger scale to suppress that movement, which initiated on 6 April 1919 by Gandhi against of Rowlatt Act. Clear? Against of Rowlatt Act. This much for today. So those who are having any of the queries, they can ask now. Those who